Good afternoon, folks. Those of you that are tuned in, those of you that are going to tune in. So we are going to today. We're going to talk to Cyrille Vincent, and we're going to talk to him about the film that he is uh, in the process of making. Let's put up a little picture of the man we're going to be talking about. There he is, Major Taylor. So we hope to have Cyril on in a matter of minutes. Just having some little glitches in the matrix, just getting connected. And like I said, once again, thanks for taking the time to lock in. So we got some few questions we're gonna ask. We're gonna find out what's going on. This is definitely an interesting project. There's a lot of people that are interested in Major Taylor. There are a lot of Major Taylor cycling clubs as well. Nope, you can't hear me. What about now? I'm gonna remove Major Taylor's picture. You're gonna see me. So I'm gonna add Cyril to the stream. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, there we go. There we go. Finally, we are here. So finally, we're gonna get to talk to Cyril Vincent, and he's the man of the moment, and he's got a massive project going on. And we're just gonna jump right into it. We got a bunch of questions, and we wanted to start with like first, and foremost, people would like to know who is Cyril Vincent and where are you from?
Hey, first of all, thank you for the opportunity for coming on here and sharing my story and the story of Major Taylor primarily. And so I really appreciate the opportunity. And hi to everyone out there listening to this show. I'm very grateful to be here. My name is Cyrille Vincent. I'm an independent documentary filmmaker and I live in Worcester. I'm based in Worcester, Massachusetts.
Okay. So in Massachusetts, and we'll get into that because you we had a talk, and I sort of if I just start talking, I'm going to jump away from the questions. So let's get through the questions real quick. When did you start this project?
Well, I really started this project in early 2020 when the COVID 19, pretty much around the same time that COVID 19 was starting or becoming a little bit more, on the scene. Yes, that was around the time that I started this project.
Okay. Um, what was the inspiration for the Major Taylor movie? What was like? What really said I want to do this?
Well, there are many things, that got me where I am today with the story of Major Taylor. Um, there is so many ways that his story is inspiring to human beings. To me, someone aspiring to be a better person every day. There is just so much element in Major Taylor's story that inspire me to want to do a documentary. But most obviously, I think the fact that there weren't any documentary about Major Taylor to the standing and the level of his accomplishment,
Mm-hmm.
coupled with the point that I just mentioned. Those are few of the reasons that inspire me to do a documentary because this is an incredible story on a personal level. Major Taylor has accomplished many things as an athlete personally. And also, it's significant in a sense where he did this in a time, um, you know, in a historical time, be it in America and in the world, especially as far as the bicycle is concerned, because we
Mm-hmm.
are really talking here about the time where bicycle was the thing. Owning a bicycle in the 1800 and the turn of the century was like owning a fancy computer today. So there's again just
Mm-hmm.
so much element in this story that inspire me to want to do a documentary. And most obviously, like I said again, the fact that there wasn't any documentary or any film to the level of Major Taylor. Because if you go on many platforms or even TV shows or things going on out there or documentary, if you check on those platforms, you will not see. If you type Major Taylor, you will not see anything.
Mm-hmm.
Most likely, you will not see anything. But if you type names like Michael Jordan, Jackie Robinson, Jack Johnson, Muhammad Ali. You will see plenty of films and documentary about these people. And it seems to me that there was something missing in the picture because Major Taylor is really the pioneer. He's really the one that paved the way for many other athletes that came after him. Many people even know about Jack Johnson, the boxer, but it somehow they don't know about Major Taylor.
Yeah, that's so true. So just clarify for me: is this a documentary, a film, or movie? What would you categorize it?
Yeah, that's a good question that we need to address. It's a documentary. And the style is really specific, and I mean, it's also very, very crafted in sense of storytelling.
Mm-hmm.
But we have something major in this documentary that most people don't do is reenactment. I know that when many sometimes people see the pictures of a scene that we have shot in studios and all that, and they tend to think that is a movie. No, it's a
Mm-hmm.
documentary. We just using reenactment as one of the way to tell this story. So there's not just reenactment though. There is also like narration.
Mm-hmm.
There's also interviews, and we also delve and we're going to use a lot of archives, because we have been in contact so far with many organizations, private and public institutions that are stewarding a lot of archives on this topic on Major Terror specifically. We also talk to a lot of private collectors, that own things that are not necessarily in, museum, but they do have this thing, and we intend to use a lot of archives and artifact. Because Major Taylor, one great things about his story is that he himself pretty much documented his story. He
Yeah.
he collected a lot of the news article, like scrapbooks. The Indiana State Museum has a collection of scrapbooks that is from Major Taylor, and that was donated by his daughter Sydney Brown, and things like that. I know there are some artifacts around, like the bicycle of Major Taylor at the Bicycle Hall of Fame in Davis, California. Um, and Yeah, so we have interviews, archives, reenactment, and pretty much narration for, and we are using all this element. We are crafting all this element in research, because there is again a
Hmm.
lot of research that are being done to craft this, to make this documentary happen. We have a panel of advisors, that are humanities and scholars. Most of them are PhD doctors in their domain, and so we work. At the moment, I have six advisors, and this is advisors. Like I said, they get very specific in sense of bicycle history, gender and race, because it's Major Taylor's story, but it's a story that is happening in America, in the world, when a lot of things also are happening. And little thing that maybe sometimes people don't know is bicycle, let alone Major Taylor's story and its significance. Bicycle itself in that century, influenced a lot of things, the habit of people, even the fashion. People started dressing differently because they wanted to ride a bike. They wanted to accommodate, or ride. They wanted to feel comfortable riding a bike, since it was a thing of the time. And so even fashion has to shift around bicycle in that time.
Okay. When is the expected release date for the film?
Well, at the moment, I really don't want to get anyone's hopes up and say, okay, we're gonna release the film in this day. All I can say is that it's tenderly known for this type of documentary I'm making. Consider all the steps from pre-development to development, pre-production, production, post-production, distribution. It takes an average of 7 years, and so if I started making this documentary, or at least working on it in 2020, everyone can
Hmm.
make the math and see how many more years I'm left to work with. I'm not saying it's exactly what's going to happen. We might, finish a little earlier, and we hope that we can do that. But at this moment, I do not have a specific date I can give to anyone, just so that
Okay.
people don't get very excited and start asking every day, where is it? Where is it?
We have a question from someone on the Facebook. I'm going to save that to the end. It's a good question, so I'm going to just save that. Um, you said a lot, so I'm going to skip a couple questions in like because that entails some of the stuff that you spoke about. So we don't speak over ourselves. Like you definitely answered that. Um, if you can and if you want to, how like in your mind, how is your cycling life connected to the film, the making of this film?
Well, I'm gonna set it straight. As of now, I'm not a cyclist, like, per se. Like, I just do it for
But it
leisure.
did encourage you. It didn't
Yeah,
use because I remember we
it,
talked. You said it encouraged
yeah,
you to get on the
yeah,
bike.
absolutely, it did. And I would say it's probably most the pressure of people, because we talk about the story. I realize that I would talk to people about the story and what I'm doing, and somehow the question of do you cycle will always come.
Hmm.
And I felt guilty all the time not to say no, I don't. But so, and I end up cycling. I'm at this point. I'm not gonna try to do anything crazy or even trying to be an athlete or a competitor in this thing. It's not
No,
gonna
you
happen.
don't have to be on that level. I understand that Melanie, she, from what I understand, she's dragged you out a few times.
I'm sorry, what was the question?
I understand that Melanie Morris, she's dragged out a few times for a couple of rides and stuff. So is
Yeah.
that true?
I cannot, I don't know, somehow it's breaking up. I cannot really hear what you say Melanie did.
Oh, did she took you out on a couple of rides?
Yeah, I believe so. The one I remember is one ride.
Oh, okay. So in like in doing all of this, it wouldn't encourage you to like, okay, let me see if I could get out and do a little bit of stuff. It hasn't
Yeah,
encouraged you any to be a bit more enthusiastic to the sport.
well, walking on the story has opened me to the history of bicycle and what has been happening for the bicycle, in general, but also for the community, the Black community in America and beyond in the whole world.
Mm,
Because um, we know that there is still a lot of work to do in terms of diversity and bringing people that look like Major Taylor to top and high levels cycling, and even
okay.
the cycling organizations. So I think this story has really, more than anything, athletic. Even though I have been going back to the gym a little bit more. Yes, absolutely, I love that. But I think it has more shaped my mind than anything else. Because really,
That's
um,
fantastic.
yeah, really, there are a couple of things that I see here in Major Taylor's story. And if at the end of the day we talk so much, and sometimes when we talk a lot, people get confused, they don't keep anything. I
Hmm.
I I made a little homework just to make sure that every time that somebody pay attention to our interviews or whatever we are saying out there, that they can get some sort of value. And because Major Taylor story, somebody might say this is more than 100 years ago, and how is this relevant? Like, how does this help me to go through my everyday trial? Like, New Year is gonna
It's the
happen
story.
soon. Yeah,
It's the interest. It's who we are as a people. It helps develop and define people. It's a definitely a good story to know. So I'm gonna just jump to one of the questions from a Facebook user. So if you Facebook and you ask the question, because of the way StreamYard is set up, if I would like to acknowledge you and tell you thank you for your question. So just type your name in there because Facebook just puts you up as Facebook user. Now if you go to the YouTube, then your name will come up and then I can address accordingly, which is why I have both platforms going so that if you comment on the YouTube, then we can see who you are. And so anyway, here's the first question. If you're still there, if you could just let me know what your name is, and I would tell you thank you for the question. And the first question is, how helpful was the major tailing? I'm sorry, I might have disappeared there for a second. So, how helpful was the Major Taylor Association in backing your film?
um well, the Major Taylor Association has been really helpful from the beginning of making this documentary. And I mentioned earlier that we do a lot of research, and when we do those research, we actually we trying to get to primary source and secondary source to talk to, be it reading the books. Mr. Taylor wrote his own autobiography, and the Mr. Taylor Association was one of the organization we went to explain our idea, and they were really receptive from the beginning, and they help us to connect with some people in the industry. They have been really helpful more in terms of reaching out and
Connections,
directing us to resources.
like they've been helpful with the networking, sounds like it. So that's
Yeah,
pretty cool. So that question, I believe it came from William Davis. It says William Davis, who I hope I'm not mixing up, but I think that question came from William Davis. So the next question, and big shout out to George Tapley, uh, good friend of mine. Thanks for tuning in, brother. It says,
I
any
can see on
interview
your
Otis Taylor?
Facebook here. That question was from Randall Bevans. How helpful was the Mr. Taylor Association? I don't know if that's the same thing, but I can see
Yeah,
a
that was the
thread.
same question.
Yeah.
So it's from Brenda Bivens. That's cool. Thank you,
Yes.
Brenda. So the second one is has
Randall's
yeah,
Bevan.
Brenda Bivens.
Yeah.
Randall.
Yeah,
Randall
Randall.
R. Not Brandon. Okay, Randall. We communicate quite a bit, I think, on the Black Cyclist platform. So I'm familiar with Randall. Thank you, Randall, for the question. Appreciate that. So the next question is: has anyone interviewed Otis Taylor? He had some of me. He had some of Otis Taylor's. He had some of Major Taylor's memorabilia that he got from Sydney. From Sydney, I guess, who is Major Taylor's daughter.
Yeah, I see that question is George. Yeah, I mean, um Otis Taylor, I think he's incredible. He had a song about Major Taylor. He wrote a song about Major Taylor. There are very few songs. I heard very few songs about Major Taylor, and I think people should, there should be more song about Major Taylor, and even rappers like Jay-Z or somebody should do something.
Hmm.
But yeah, I hope that at some point we're going to be able to. I talked to Otis Taylor, and I think he lives in Colorado right now. He's walking a lot. He's a lot
Yeah.
on stage on tour. But at some point we will have to interview him if we have if we're able to raise the money that we need to travel and do some of the interview that need to be done outside Worcester, Massachusetts, and New England.
Hmm. So
Yeah.
here's a question. Hopefully it's okay to ask this. What is it like? What has it been like trying to get the funding to raise the money, and also what is like your target? What is the target to that you need to achieve in order to make this project happen, or well, to completion?
Well, we need $1 million. It's a little bit of money. And so far, I mean, we have been able to do a trailer first of all, which I'm very happy and glad for the work. The fundraising process itself has been a whirlwind. Um, I am an independent documentary filmmaker, which means a lot of the time the film that we made or that I make, I'm the first investor, the biggest investor, and
Hmm.
it's okay. I have been okay with that, but this is a big project where I need a little bit more resource. I need a little bit more, people,
Help. Yeah.
and and help obviously, and so far really I think it is possible to make it happen. Regarding the number of people that support the story and want to see this story go on screen, so I believe that
Hmm.
when we're really going to start our crowdfunding campaign with much more proposition for people. I can see that people want to contribute. I can see that people
Yeah.
want to contribute.
So you don't really have an official like crowdfunding campaign going as yet.
We started a crowdfunding campaign on our website, but we want to extend it to other platforms, and we want to be able. But really, so far we have been, asking for donation, and you know, typically it means that you are trusting the process of what we are doing, and you are giving the money that you are giving to see the story happen. And the reason
Hmm.
is, we have not finalized distribution talks, because what most people would do for their crowdfunding campaign to blow up, like we can make this blow up, but we don't want to promise to people, because we are looking at
Hmm.
$1 million. It's a little bit of money, and we know that it's going to be challenging to raise that money, through donations. So very early on at this point, we don't want to say, okay, you can donate $10, $20, and you're gonna get a DVD of the. We are not at that level yet. We don't want to
Hmm.
promise that. So since we are in development, what we have seen and what we have been doing with our donors is, okay, we go about this by steps. So what are we doing right now? We are like in the mid development, researching and everything. So the money we are asking for right now, it's around $55,000, and we have raised like 29, close to $30,000 of that. And really, the idea is that if we get that 55,000, we can secure all, the riders, because we need riders. I'm not a
Hmm.
professional riders. To write is a documentary, yes, but like it's much more complex. We want
Yeah.
to go deep in the story. We just don't want to gloss over it and be like, oh, we made a documentary. We want to go deep because this
Yeah.
is a story that need to be treated deeply, with as
Yeah.
much as professional as possible. So we want to be able to have writers on board, industry producers, that can tune in and work with us, and to be able to do that, and also secure at least 100 hours of research from our advisors. Because, like I
Hmm.
mentioned, we need to, and we are doing so far. I have to put more hours into it, obviously, because I'm the director, I lead the vision. But my hope is that at least my team of advisors, which is 10 people, an expert, can have access to books, to all the manuscript they need to give us the right advice on how to build the narrative arc of this story. It's not easy. It's very complex. If we want to
Yeah.
do it right,
I can
it gets.
imagine. Yeah, I can imagine. I can imagine. So we like got like a minute or two left. So we're coming up to 30 minutes, which is what we had scheduled for. So I'm not gonna keep you too long. So I just want to run
Absolutely.
down really quickly. So we got like from someone that just says hello, hello, and to the person who said hello, 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 hello back to you. Um, and thanks George Tapley for tapping in. Thanks, Biv, also for tapping in. And then George had a last comment. He just said, I just asked about Otis as I worked for a cycling team he managed, etc. back in the 80s. When I asked him about Major Taylor, he told me how he had met and talked with his daughter, Sydney. He may be the only one alive now who has met her. Yeah. So I mean, I'm gonna say that it sounds like you still got like some stuff to do. I think you could get it done. It's just a matter of networking and getting things done. So I'm gonna be looking forward to the completion of the Major Taylor documentary film movie slash you know feature feature presentation. Um, the thing that I was going to say is that there are, I believe, 40 plus Major Taylor clubs across the U.S. Of A, and I just think that if that I disappear, I keep my thing keeps dropping out. I apologize that for my internet connection. Um, so I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm just like, just imagine if every member, because at Major Taylor LA had like 250 members, I think, but if every Major Taylor club contributed like $10 per person, you know, you would be well on your way to getting things done. So once you get, do you have the anywhere like right now if someone wanted to donate funds, do you have somewhere right now where people can do
Yeah,
that?
on the website, on 3W, to follow the project, we have a trailer concept out there that we have been able to produce. It costs us a little bit money, but it's out there on the website, 3W.worcester And I agree with you. I have talks with Major Taylor, cycling clubs, leaders around the country and even outside the country.
Hmm.
Again, it's not about can this be made. This can be made. This will be made. It's not about when and how are we going to do this, and we are trying to make sure we have a plan in place right now, because um in reality we are not going to wait. If we keep waiting for an investor or Hollywood or someone to come and make this, it might never happen. It's probably going to take another 50 years. If we really
It'll
want to see
happen.
this happen.
I was gonna say it'll happen, but in
Yeah,
like
but
to the form that your vision, someone else will come along and say, okay, we're putting the money and we think this should be this and that way should be that way, instead of letting the director like yourself complete the vision.
yeah, absolutely. We hope that it does happen. But we also know that we can't sit around and wait for someone
Mm-hmm.
to come and make it happen. So we are making sure that, be it through that investor or the donation or our own means, that this documentary get made because it's needed now.
Can you type your funding page into the comments for the Facebook? Just type it into the, and then I'm gonna highlight it and drop it into here, and just before we get off of this really quickly. So
So
I can
yeah, I can do
go
that.
ahead.
But I would like, before I go, to say but a few things. Is that, beyond the story, the date, and all the
Yo,
money and
put it in,
everything.
put it in now, so that while you're talking, it's there for people to see. So
Okay, was the
that way, like it's not up for it'll be up for 5 minutes as opposed to 30 seconds. Give people a chance to copy it, and because we need people to go to the
I know.
website,
I
and
get very passionate about the story. So
so yeah, so
yeah. So like I said, beyond the story, the contribution, we appreciate the support of everyone and what everyone is doing. I think for me, again, I'm not interested in researching the story, because if you just want to know about the story, there's a lot of books already. There's a lot of stuff
hmm
about the story of Major Taylor. It's already out there. I'm really interested on where are we coming from and where are we going from this, and what I really see in Major Taylor's story that can inspire everybody across all the board, if you're a cyclist or not a cyclist, is three essential ideas. And those ideas are: one, it doesn't really matter where you start, it matters where you end. And Major Taylor said that a lot in his autobiography. That one
hmm
thing you learn about the track is that it really doesn't matter where you start, it matters where you end. And this, you can see that in his life or through his life, because many times he was not even announced in the competition on the bill, and he would start a race with an handicap. That means he would probably start last, and he would still end up by strategy and by hard work winning. And if you're a Christian, in the Bible they say, the first will be the last, and the last will be the first. So at
yep,
the end of the day, we're not always going to have perfect situation in life, be it your marriage, your business, whatever the case may be. So you're not going to sit there and cry about it, because Mr. Taylor could have just been like, okay, we live in a racist country, the laws are against me. Because yes, there was Jim Crow laws, it was clear, black and white can mix, they can compete together. He couldn't train in the YMCA, he didn't have it, like they didn't give it to him.
yeah,
He went and took it, and it didn't matter really where he started, because he started pretty much last in everything, and he ended up first. The second thing is, you got to let it go, really, like, because and Major Taylor said, well, he said, life is too short for any man to keep bitterness in your heart. Like, you can't carry the way of life, you can't carry the way of negativity, you can't carry that way and trying to soar high. It's not gonna happen. So you
yeah,
gotta let it go. People will hurt you. Sometime on the track, he got choked out one time in Massachusetts here. For 15 minutes, he went cold out. Also, sometime on the track, people will pour ice, bucket ice on him and things like that, and
hmm
riders would team together to pocket him. So if Major Taylor had to keep all that grudge, all that resentment in his head, I'm not sure he will have had enough time to focus on his training and compete and win. So the idea is, you got to focus on the big picture. Don't get distracted. Let it go, and I believe the last thing is dream big, but it has to be bigger than yourself, because you can't really dream for things. I mean, you can dream to get a big car, big house, all that bling bling, whatever the case may be. But it's easy when you have that kind of dream. It's easy to get knocked out, because what will happen is that life will show up. Things, you will not have a life that will always be good. Bad stuff will happen. Whatever, whoever you are, a poor or a millionaire, bad stuff will happen. And it's it's when you dream bigger than yourself, more than those cars. That's why we see a lot of celebrity people with money kill themselves, because they are not really happy. But most of the time, when you are doing this thing for things that are bigger than yourself, let's say your family or your community or your church, whatever the case may be, it has to be bigger than you. And it shows in Major Taylor life that, it was bigger than him, because I think if I was Major Taylor, I would have probably give up at some point. He probably would have give up, because he could die anytime on the track. It could be the last race he participated into. But because he thought that, this is bigger than himself, he kept going. He kept going. Even after getting choked out, the man will wake up and the next day he will be on his way to the next race like nothing happened. And you will see he will not complain about it. So those are really three elements that I say. It does not matter where you start; it matters where you end. You have to let it go. You have to forgive. You can't soar high with the weight of negativity. You can carry that with you. It's not gonna happen. And last, dream big, but it has to be bigger than yourself. So again, these 3 points really are very, inspired from Mr. Taylor's story, and they can help everyone in life, be you're a businessman or a media person or an athlete, whatever you are. So I thought it was good that I talk about those things, since we are getting in the new year and people are making new resolution and getting pumped up for things they will do the better themselves, myself too. So it's important to have reference like that.
All right, and that was Cyril Vincent. So
All
is
right.
that everything that you before I close out?
Yeah, I think that's, if I think the interview is being for like close to an hour. Again, we hope that we can make this story would be more powerful if the people were the one producing it. Like, I have been
Hmm.
talking to some producers, actually, people that are very interested in financing the story, but I have my own vision that I want this to be, because I want this to be a conversation starter, and when sometime big investor get involved or big platforms, we it's the story become a little bit more entertainment than anything else. and
Hmm.
and not um I'm not interested in entertaining people. uh
No
you know
worries, no worries.
so yeah, sometimes we can try to be fun. It's part of what we're doing, but it's not my main goal. Is not to try to make people laugh.
No, I don't think this is going to be a laughing story. I think this is going to be an awesome story. Right. So I don't think this is going to be a laughing story. Um, yeah, says we lost the sound. Hopefully the sound is back. And I think that's on my end. If give somebody just give me a thumbs up if the sound is back. So
Yeah, I think your sound is cutting a little bit. I don't know if you can hear me
mhm.
straight, but the sound
I
is
can hear you good.
cutting. Yeah, now it's getting better. It's better now.
Yeah. So that's on my end. I live in the country. I live in the UK. So you got to turn your YouTube down. Like the if you're watching it, you got to turn it down on Facebook, the volume.
Who, me?
So yeah.
YouTube? I'm not on YouTube. I'm on Facebook. I'm watching your Facebook feed live.
Yes.
Maybe.
I live in
Okay.
so whatever external device is, you just got to turn the volume down and it'll be good. So basically, I was just gonna explain because of where I live. I'm out in the country, so I'm on top of a hill. So sometimes my reception is great, and sometimes it's rubbish, which really my head in sometimes. So, but anyway, I'm gonna thank everyone who tuned in to check this out and listen to Cyril Vincent, who's making a movie slash documentary film on
A
the life of
document.
yeah, documentary on the life of Major Marshal Taylor, and it's not just about like most people know how good he was, but by the sounds of it, the documentary is going to get into more of who he was. So, and also the film or the documentary, in order for it to be done, it requires funding. This is not a small project. Cyril is saying $1 million, but $1 million ain't no money because we know the money that some of these movie producers spend on. So I think within our community we can come together and do something. So I'm gonna go right to www.worcestersharewhirlwind.com myself and make a donation. So if you know somebody that knows somebody, it all helps. So like I said, there's over 40 major Taylor clubs. Like if everyone did $10, it'll be, you know, we would be on our way. And
It's
this is
coming.
my thing.
It's coming. I'm very
Yeah.
hopeful that it's gonna happen. It's coming.
So this would be like my thing. Like just it's if all of those like the clubs came together and put together that money can be used to go professionally and seek some professional funding so that we can get this on the way. So adding to money, it takes money sometimes to raise money. So
Oh,
and
absolutely.
these
The
these are the
fifty-five
things that
thousand
we
that we are looking to raise,
got.
the 55,000 that we are looking to raise at the moment, which is our first goal, our first step of the fundraising process. It's part of it is to hire a development team. People that will help us to apply for grant, to reach out to production, and work on a
Mhm.
daily basis. Because it's a lot of work. I can't, as the director, I it's hard, and it's especially if you want to do it to the high level we are trying to do. And I don't think anyone is actually uh getting all those hard. It's difficult to raise money at the same time and trying to keep the vision, the creative vision sane, because it's require a lot of work, a lot of research, a lot of back and forward, with actors, archives, readings, writers, a lot of work. Yeah.
Okay, so with
And
that, we're gonna
fundraising also
bring it
is a
to.
full-time job. Fundraising is a full-time job.
With that, we're gonna bring it to a close, and like say once again, thanks
All
everyone
right.
for
Thank you very much
tuning
for the
in.
opportunity.
And the link for the website, if you would like to make a donation to contribute to this project to make it happen, it's on the screen. Oh my goodness, it's disappeared again. I can see when my thing disappears from the screen. Apologies to folks that see me disappear and come back and disappear, come back. So I do apologize for that. So like I said, www.worcestersharewhirlwind.com, www.worcestersharewhirlwind.com. Come on,
Worcester,
people. Come on,
Worcester,
people. Worcester, Worcester,
Worcester.
Worcester. It's not share, is it? It's just Worcester. Sorry, because
Yeah,
there's Worcestershire here
yeah, I
in the
know, I
UK. I'm
know.
sorry. So Worcester, sorry, Worcester. I'm messing up
Worcester,
the man's. People gonna be sending money somewhere else. Oh my goodness.
Worcester, Worcester.
Worcester,
It's okay.
www.worcestersharewhirlwind.com.
It's
So
okay.
like,
What is yours is yours.
and someone says thanks for the information. Someone else is saying you're doing great work. Keep it up. And
Thank
with that, I'm gonna just put this. Here we go. No, wrong one. Sorry. Oh, here we go. This is what I wanted to post. Yeah, there we are. Goodbye, and it's on the ticker tape. And thank you for watching. And thanks. I thank everyone who made a comment. Big up my buddy George Tapley. With the questions. George Tapley is always on point. Probably one of the best mechanics out there. You and someone to hook you. George
Hello,
is probably as
George
old as me.
Tapley.
He's probably as old as Major Taylor. So I'm just joking. He's a good buddy of mine. I'm just joking. So anyway, let me get out of here. Thank you for tuning in next week. I'm not quite sure who we're gonna get up here. I'm gonna try and talk to some people. I mean, it's not that
I
easy
can come
getting
back.
people. Yeah, it's not that easy getting people on a platform that's not like established yet. So people to like
No, I'm happy to be here. I can come back.
yeah.
I'm a grassroots filmmaker, so I understand what this is, what this is.
No worries, not at all. So the plan is to get some of the Bahadis and the Justin Williams and the Ivan Dominguez is through and to talk. Somebody I would love to have on it is Tommy Thornton. I mean, he's a wealth of information. He's inside the Black Cyclist. So I mean, that's just on my wish list. So we'll see what happens in 2023. So anyway, sir, I'm gonna say goodbye and I'm gonna sign you out. So you can just give him a wave and let him say you're going. So
Thank
that
you
was
very much,
Cyril.
everybody. Appreciate you guys. Thank you so much.
So that was Cyril Vincent, and like I said, once again, thank him for what he's doing. What he's working on is an amazing project. So for me, this is all leading towards one thing. Everyone sees this SWYL, and that's my thing. Say it with your legs, media. And at first, I was like, sort of like, I'm not really telling people what this is about and what I'm doing. Um, Basically, say it with your legs, media is my goal towards working towards a development academy, academy here in Europe, in the heart of Italy, and somewhere that where I go get kids from Africa, kids from the Caribbean, kids from lower income parts of the U.S., and bring them here into the heart of cycling, and try to develop some of the future pros and great cyclists in for the future. The thing about it is that having it based here in Europe and not in the backyard of like wherever they live, it's an environment that has been keeping them stagnant. Where a lot of some young people just need a change. So that's my long term goal and dream. So this is when I ask people to, if you go to my YouTube page and subscribe to the channel and like the channel, like the thing. That's what this is all for, because this year I will be working as a freelance journalist in Europe and covering the pro scene. The goal is to get so many subscribers, maybe in the next 2 years. Just the revenue that the YouTube brings me will get me towards the dream of creating an academy. Because as we know, YouTube can be quite lucrative, and if I'm able to get the subscribers and the followers on YouTube, then I'm well on we're well on our way to creating a youth academy. And you know what? We can probably create a couple more major tailors, or uh, major tailors, or major mams, lady tailors. So you never know what we could create. So this is my ask of you. Go to my YouTube channel, like to subscribe and hit like for that algorithm. And yeah, I'm gonna make this happen. So we'll be back. Hopefully I could get a Bahati. I'm gonna bug him. I'm gonna bug him. He might even block me. That's okay. But I'm still gonna bug him and see if we could get Bahati on here, and we could talk about the Bahati Foundation and what he's done in cycling and stuff. Cause but I know him, he's a good guy, and he's a whole lot younger than me. He's a little pop kid to me. So I know I don't look that old, but but anyway, let me get off of this. I'm gonna check. Let me see. Just check something on really quickly. Um, Here we go. Gonna add this to the stream. Hopefully, it's not too loud. Again, folks, thanks for joining us. Definitely appreciate it.